Hey guys, welcome to another Autodealer video. You joined me here on a freezing morning here in the East Rand, and we've got two special edition Volkswagen Amaroks for you. But the car that I'm concerned with is the Amarok Canyon. Now it's a special edition of the V6 variant of the Volkswagen Amarok. Comes in this special orange color, which we'll get into a bit later. Also comes with various different accents like a new set of wheels, a new interior trim, and pretty much everything else mechanically is the same. And I'll leave Justin to tell you a little bit more about what he's going to be driving.
Right, thanks Sean. And as he mentioned, I am driving the Amarok Dark Label. Unlike his orange bucky, this is finished in grey, which is highlighted by some black accents like on the wheels, the side steps, the wing mirrors, the door handles. Gives it a bit of a cool vibe, I guess. We've had debates in the office because Sean's bucky is powered by a really large engine, which he will explain later. This one is a bit smaller, but I like this, so stay tuned to find out why.
Hi there guys, welcome to the interior of the Volkswagen Amarok Canyon edition. Now, I'm going to just put it out there, between the two Amaroks that Justin and I are sampling this week and for this video, the V6 for me is the one, because this engine is just too potent. I mean, how can you not absolutely love this car because of the fact that it's got a 3-litre V6 diesel under the bonnet in an era where all of its competitors are downsizing their engines. In terms of output, this car has got 165 kilowatts of power and 550 newton meters of torque. Now, that can increase to 180 kilowatts thanks to an overboost function, which has been standard across the Amarok range, V6 range, should I say, since it was released. So I suppose the real question is, what differentiates the Canyon from the regular Highline V6 Amarok? And I suppose that all comes down to aesthetics. As I alluded to earlier, there is an exclusive paint finish available for the Canyon, and that is called honeycomb orange. As you can see, it's a metallic orange of sorts. I think it looks awesome. It does split opinion, but I suppose bright colors always do. I love it though. That theme continues to the interior, where we've got semi-leather seats. The outside of the seats are covered in leather. The inside has got this very cool and quite grippy material. It's also finished with a goldish orange stitching across all the seats. The seat belts, as you can see, have got orange stitching. The steering wheel, which is a newer steering wheel from the latest Volkswagen products, that also has some orange stitching in it. The gear lever here, the leather surrounding it, has got orange stitching too, so there's definitely a theme to the inside. The roof liner too has got quite a cool material finish to it. I do think though that the age or the way that this Amarok has aged rather is impressive. It still looks very up to date and modern. We've got an infotainment system here that's touchscreen. It's got functionality like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So let's set off, shall we? One of the highlights of the V6 and indeed the bi-turbo Amarok for me is the automatic gearbox. It's an 8-speed sourced from ZF, and it just makes life in an Amarok an absolute breeze. What amazes me is that for a bakkie that doesn't have low range functionality, the Amarok is incredibly capable. And I don't say that just because I've been driving around a quarry and sliding the car around a little bit. It's got a lot more to do with the fact that I've done some off-roading in Amaroks. I've taken a bi-turbo TDI to Mozambique where there are no toll roads, and that car performed incredibly well. Everybody that was with me on the trip was converted to Amarok fans after the fact. Then earlier this year I did the Spirit of Amarok, and it was the first year in which they used V6 Amaroks, and I have to say it was so impressive. I mean, you just use the off-road mode and you can adjust. You can either have your traction control on or off, and the car just climbs obstacles. I would go out on a limb and say this car can do 95% of what most hardcore off-roaders want to do. That last 5% is obviously what you get from ridiculously capable vehicles like a Jeep Wrangler or a Land Cruiser or something like that. But for the average Joe like me, for people who are looking for a lifestyle bakkie, this is just phenomenal. A, because it's so powerful. I mean, this V6 motor is so potent, overtaking and indeed towing because of all the torque and power available is a breeze. I think that this is just such a good bakkie package. So let's take the vehicle off-road a little bit here. We've got some pretty hectic puddles. There's an off-road mode here. I've got it in 4-wheel drive. I've got the traction control off. And let's see what we can do here. Off-road. Purely turn the traction control off because it's so super muddy, and the car, if I get into a bog situation, I don't want the traction control to be cutting power away from me. So we've got the stability control off. Although it does work very well, if you're climbing up obstacles, it uses some very clever electronics to help you get up things. So you obviously cannot see this in the video, but I'm about to climb up quite a steep rock face over here in this quarry, and I'm just going to kind of idle up here. We've got quite a lot of torque, and here we go. One hand up, and here's some electronics or some electronic differential. Let's go up. Well, that was pretty easy. That was very easy actually. My colleagues and I have spent the past week driving both of these Amaroks on the road. I think as an overall package for the road in terms of fuel consumption, all things considered, the 4-cylinder Amarok is probably the smarter choice to purchase. But I think if you are after the ultimate lifestyle bakkie to tow things, you have a boat or a jet ski, and if you do, I'm already jealous. The V6 just offers you so much more power and so much more versatility in terms of what it can tow, and it also is kind of cool to say that your bakkie can do 0 to 100 in less than 8 seconds and worry Fiesta STs at traffic light drag races, and there's something infinitely cool about that. Fuel consumption is obviously the issue with the V6 Amarok versus the 4-cylinder. I have been, well, now obviously this morning with all the off-roading, that has definitely, the fuel consumption has definitely increased, but I've averaged around 11 liters per 100 kilometers, which isn't terrible. I mean, it's comparable to the likes of the Ford Ranger Raptor in that sense. The 4-cylinder, on the other hand, when I hopped in that car the other day, the team was averaging about 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's really impressive for a bakkie. Anything under 9 liters per 100 kilometers, I'd say in rear wheel driving is impressive.
Alrighty, the Amarok Dark Label. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel. In fact, bi-turbocharged, and yeah, we've got 132 kilowatts, 420 newton meters of torque, and a beautiful 8-speed gearbox. Now, Sean probably went on and on and on about how powerful the V6s, and yes, the V6 is incredibly powerful, but VW kind of launched with this car a couple of years ago, and everyone gave this car issues because it had this little 2-liter diesel. I mean, a 2-liter diesel in a bucky or pickup like this, come on. Everybody else was 3.2s like from Ford, or 3 liters from Toyota. And even though this remained faster than those buckies, it remained more fuel efficient than those buckies, and it developed similar power as those buckies, people still had an issue with it being a 2-liter. However, the competition has finally, after many years, caught up, because they are all just about 2 liters. The new Ford Ranger has a 2-liter. The Ford Ranger Wildtrak actually has a bi-turbocharged 2-liter, which is kind of what this has. So let's talk about this dark label as a package, right? So yeah, Sean's massive V6 is absolutely sublime, but I am doing exactly what he's been doing, and I'm not struggling at all. I mean, it's getting really slippery, and it's been raining, and I've just pushed the 4x4 button because obviously these buckies don't have low range, so it uses clever software to send power to all the wheels via Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive system. And clever it is indeed. I mean, it is really slippery here, but all you do is you just give it a few revs and you get out. I've never done this in an Amarok before, actually. Like, I've never actually gone off-roading and played in the mud in Amarok, and I must say, I'm really impressed. I was thinking, you know, I'm gonna need a low-range transfer case or something, but I don't. We have an off-road button, we have a rear diff lock button, and we have the traction control button, which is obviously off right now, so we allow a little bit of wheel spin. Then the system kind of sorts everything out for you. It's very easy, and I must say, the easiness can be felt here in the interior because it's really plush. It's got a nice dashboard, the design is nice. I've got Apple CarPlay, a touch screen, nice climate control system, and I've got heated seats, and when it's 13 degrees outside, these babies are on. Other things I like on the dark label, I like this grey and black leather trim, and the exterior, I do like this grey color. I'm not a fan of Sean's orange vehicle. I don't know if you guys like it, but I'm not a fan of it. I prefer this, and the dark label brings with it, you know, like a dark label sticker along the side. We've got black side skirts, black wing mirrors, black door handles. The interior is nice and dark, and it just looks sophisticated, and it feels good. Everything feels nice. I mean, it's not exactly soft touch, but there's a bit of a nice feeling to it. It doesn't feel cheap. So what are you going to pay for this thing? That's where the problem comes in. I'm sorry. You're looking at around 695,000 Rand, about there. Let's call it 700,000 Rand. But for 700,000 Rand, you get a vehicle that is able to keep up with that V6. Yes, the V6 was probably better at towing, and if you want to drag race other buckies, I mean, that thing is like the fastest bucky that you could buy off the floor in the country. It's faster than the Ford Raptor, it's faster than the Hilux, the Ranger, even the Mercedes X-Class 350. So that is a very good bucky, but I just feel that this is kind of all you need. And the big factor for me on this whole thing is the fact that Volkswagen claims an 8.5 liter per 100 kilometer fuel economy, right? And I've kind of been getting that. I think Amarok was one of the first buckies to really introduce that premium SUV style feeling when buying a bucky. Oh, it's slippery here. Oh, big hole. This four-wheel drive system is really good.
So yeah, guys, I mean, as far as the bakkie segment goes, I mean, look, there are a lot of options out there. However, I agree with Sean on this. If you want a decent all-rounder, and when I say all-rounder, I mean something that's going to give you an SUV-like feel, a more comfortable, more capable on-road feel as it is off-road. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think you're going to be able to track into Africa on a humanitarian mission without low range. It has been done before. I don't know if I would personally want to do that, but playing around here where we were playing in the mud, in this quarry, driving up these wet slippery rocks and through this clay and playing in the mud, I have not missed low range. So take that as you will. As for me though, the more I drive this bakkie, I mean, I'm a big fan of the other bakkie from the east. And when I say from the east, I mean the Toyota Hilux. Really, I am a massive fan of that vehicle. But after driving this off-road and really, I mean, kicking it in the nuts, I am really, really impressed, and I have absolutely loved my time with it. And I think this dark label, as nice as what that V6 is, this dark label with this gearbox and this engine, that's the one I'm going to go for. Oh, alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you soon. Bye.